Good afternoon. Today is Monday, March 10th, 2025. The time on deck is 16:35. We have the Building and Grounds Committee. We have an agenda before us. How would the board like to, or the committee like to proceed?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the agenda set before us.
And I will go ahead and second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Turn it over to you, Dr. Hummer.
All right, Mr. Chair, thank you very much. So we have 6 items for you this evening. Of these 6, 4 of them are to go to full board for approval. One of those items is for review is our CAP projects update. We're going to review where we're at with those current projects, as well as our CIP projects. We like to provide you guys with updates with where we are, projects that we're looking on in the horizon as we continue to manage these and look forward through these items. Then we have our modular classrooms at James Wood Middle, and I'm actually going to correct my statement earlier. We did have this up for you to approve this evening. We are still working on getting these items priced out, so we are going to ask that this gets moved to the next meeting, but we are going to share with you where we currently are with this particular project, and that was because we had to update some numbers there for you guys. The last 3 items are up for a motion to go to the full board for approval. So the first is a relocation of a water line easement at Middletown Elementary School. We also have the lot consolidation at Sharando. If you remember, we purchased some property over there, so we're working on consolidating that. And then we also have a guest here in the audience, Patrick Barker, who is going to answer any questions we have about the floor tile replacement. So that is going to be fully funded with, I think he had some donors, if I'm not mistaken, and we just need to approve that if we want to make those adjustments over there. So we'll answer those questions. So with that, I'll hand it over to Mr. Goodwin as we go through these items. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and Mrs. Klein.
Thank you, Dr. Hummer. Mr. Chair, other members of the committee, and other members of the board and audience, welcome. We're excited to have the opportunity to talk with you this evening. So we'd just like to start off with our CAP projects update. So I'd like to welcome to the Brian Davis, our Director of Facility Services. Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Ms. Klein, Dr. Hummer. My update tonight's really nothing has changed. Just we're moving quite, forward with all these projects. So we'll get into it. Redbud and Armel asphalt projects. We're going to do those in the spring, waiting for the asphalt plants to open up. Sharando High School boiler is a June project. Apple Pie plumbing fixture is a April project. Had to count the months there. Sorry. Bass Hoover Plumbing's April as well. The two will go hand in hand there. Bass Hoover interior painting, that's in progress. We were doing that on the weekend. We have 2 weekends left, and that project will be done. Looks pretty good down there. James Wood Middle School roof replacement, that'll happen in March. If you look out back, you'll see most of the materials already here. So we have that. Apple Pie Elementary is in progress. All the materials there. They actually started pretty good today, this week today. They've done a couple of things there, but really got going today on that one. Mostly weather kind of delayed that, but we're still on schedule for these to be done. Apple Pie Ridge boiler, it's going to start in May. Stonewall boiler June. Bass Hoover chiller will be July. Still on schedule for all of those. No hiccups there. Durations are still the same, 1 month, month and a half, and month, so to do the project. Sharando boiler, which is a number 2. These were unobligated funds that were given to us last year. That's just the second boiler there at Sharando, same time frame, no problem. Sharando track resurface, Miller Sports Construction. You guys will see some paperwork on that this week. That one there, if we can get it going in June. I did go out with Miller to a project they did in Prince George's County, Maryland. There's a big sports complex. I wanted to see the track they did because they are a little bit lower in cost than the other people. So I wanted to see what we're getting. It was a very nice track. I was very, very impressed with what they did. And they do this stuff all up and down the East Coast. So I feel pretty good with them. It was nice to go out and see it. Bass Hoover water heater, that's still in design. We should be able to get that out of design in the next 30 days and get that going so we can meet the heating system for this coming year. Millbrook Tennis Court, same company, Miller. Tennis court's a tennis court. It's all about the surface on top. So we're getting a pretty good surface. Both of those projects will meet the Virginia Sports, I don't remember the acronym for it, but we are able to hold events and things like that, so it does meet the criteria for that. Orchard View windows and doors, just haven't moved on that. Just waiting to see where we land on the top 4 there. That's all I have for an update for this evening. Do you guys have any questions on facilities or anything whatsoever?
Nope, good to go.
Great,
Appreciate it.
thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thanks, Mr. Davis.
All right, thank you, Mr. Davis, for your presentation. I'd now like to ask Mr. Kevin Kinney to come forward, Assistant Director for Planning and Construction for our CIP project updates. Thank you, Mr. Kinney.
Good afternoon, Dr. Hummer, members of the committee. Good to see everybody. We'll go down through the list so we don't hold up too much time. As you see, we got a pretty full list of projects we're still tracking. Fourth High School, there's been a flurry of activity this past few weeks. We got our curation meeting started about 2 weeks ago, the last 3 days of February. We had good participation from all of our departments. Everyone that was needed to be there was there, got input. So we're next to our next round of meetings, which starts this Wednesday, the 12th. Then we have them from the 19th, 20th, and so forth. So we're right where we need to be tracking wise. So for the design, there's not a minute that can be wasted to develop a high school design. So we're tracking quite nicely on that project. We'll keep you updated for when the first schematic designs come up, but we're a few months away from that. I'll jump right into Middletown Elementary School modulars. We had our design meeting today. These meetings here was upgraded last Friday, but we had those meetings today. We are getting ready to, we've 2 more agencies needs to review the site plan. There's about 6 or 7 agencies downtown at the county level that review those. We're waiting on the 2 final agencies, and then we should have a site plan. We've received a site plan approved, excuse me. We received quotes back from contractors for the site development, the electrical, what have you. The electrical budget's looking very well. The site work budget, the site development budget, we've had to add a few things there under the county criteria for stormwater and what have you, so we're managing that. So as we get the final prices in, we should be able to stay within budget on that project also. Into the Middletown expansion project, again, we are expecting to have our schematic design and cost estimate by the end of March. We're tracking with that quite nicely. We've seen some preliminary cost, some preliminary tracking on that. Of course, we've already got, not how we got into the details, but we're working on the details with civil engineering side, things like that. One of the things that it looks to be expected that we will have to sprinkle the addition. Good news is one of the main water lines was already run up Mustang Lane, so that is there. So working with those costs, and it's still we had enough contingency built in. I think we'll be just fine there on that project. So we've been working with staff and what have you. Jordan Springs expansion, we received schematic design last Tuesday, the 4th. They've been notified by letter that we accepted schematic design, and we've entered into the design development phase. So it's just a formality you have to do that. Everything is tracking very nicely there also, budget-wise, design-wise, no hiccups anticipated there. So if you'd like, in the next few meetings here, we can start showing you layouts and more into the minutia of it all if you'd like. If you request that to be fine. So sometimes you can get really kind of laborious with these things. Dow J. Howard, we have mobilized there with the general contractor. We had just a little bit of additional information. The county building department requesting for some asbestos around the units. Took a little time to get the inspection agency there. We got that taken care of, delivered last week, and as we see there, they mobilized and are on site and starting the work there. Woodside Lane is another project that we've been greatly anticipating to get done by this summer. We had the meeting today. We've met with VDOT. We'll have final design this month, and then we'll put that out for pricing there. So we're just managing the exact final layout and what have you of that. Gainsborough Road, there's really not much to update there, although the Board of Supervisors has approved the funding for the design. And the county's in the process of hiring a designer for that. So they are moving forward with theirs, and so, which is quite nice after the past few years. Looks like it's going to be a very successful project. James Wood Middle School modular classrooms, I think you're going to get an update, a little further detail just a little later, but with Mr. Lee, but the project is proceeding with design. We'll have consultants on site this week to make sure for how we run electric, things like that. And so we've already got our cost estimates back. We're just awaiting the final lease amount, and we should have that any day. We've been back and forwards with the mobile modular people on that. You'll also be getting an update on the master plan for Shenandoah High School. Programming's complete. We are right on track. We anticipate to have that master plan. They'll have us something to look at by the end of April there, so you can start seeing where we're at there. Something that's been needed for a while on that site. School board office planning and construction. We are wrapping up our design on that. We've had the design done. We're finishing up the electrical, mechanical on that. It's not a big project. It's just, you just want to get it done right. And so we're moving forward with that. We anticipate starting construction work on that in April. We've got to put it out to subcontractors. Put on here James Wood High School modular classrooms. We obtained costs to demolish the old six-pack. We've had 3 different contractors submit plans and prices on that. So those things have exceeded their usefulness, and we've been, I think, facilities quite a bit of repair. So we're just going to go ahead and probably demolish those and get rid of those. The last here is James Wood High School, tracking perfect. We had a walkthrough last week, owners meeting. We are finishing up the science labs. The last of the science labs and family consumer science are on track for the end of this month, the 31st. We'll move furniture in the first week or so of April. Meeting with, having a phasing meeting tomorrow with the school, with their staff there for anticipating of that move. So we're right on track. We should be paving the final parking lots up there over spring break, those will, so you'll see it cleaned up and what have you. We have the goal in mind for the 75th anniversary celebration, so everything will be cleaned up and ready to go. So everything's tracking quite nicely at James Wood High School. Indian Hollow, final commissioning was completed, and we're just waiting final documents. Unless there's some questions, I'll be glad to answer any that you may have. I was kind of quick and down and dirty, but
I appreciate it. I did have one question. And I know that the modulars that's over there at James Wood High School has been there for quite a while. But I know we're putting some over here at James Wood Middle School if it gets approved tonight or by the full board later on. Talk about cost effectiveness. Is it more cost effective to just demolish those ones over there and then put these ones over here for rent for 3 years?
I appreciate thinking along those lines. Everybody, that would be a reasonable way to look at it. It was 2 different types of modulars. Those up at James Wood are the old, they're all enclosed, and they're not the same type we're going to put over here. But 2, those have exceeded 25 years up there. Literally, the floors are falling through. The heating and air conditioning systems are shot. Over the years, they have spent quite a few dollars up there. Leaks in the roof, we've been constantly repairing those and things like that. They just get beat up pretty hard, and those things have been moved already twice.
Okay.
And so one more move would probably be the death knell of them all. But it's a good question. It's a good way to think outside the box, and I think that way all the time. But it'd be similar to like when the ones we had at Stonewall years ago. We broke those up, took some at James Wood, some to Armel, things like that. They were newer. But these are just pretty much we've just squeezed all the juice out of them, so to speak, up there.
They've got some mileage on them.
Yeah, they do.
They've been sitting there, but they got some mileage.
Yeah, so, and I think that the overall plan is there, so they don't get short till we get the 4th high school built. The lease is up on the other 6 that Branch had uses as flex space, and we'll probably assume that lease then for 3 years till the high school's built and do something like that, so it doesn't cut them short.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kinney. That's a perfect segue into inviting Mr. Wayne Lee to come forward, Coordinator of Planning and Construction, to talk about the modular classrooms that we have going potentially over at Jameswood Middle School with your approval. Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Dr. Hummer, good afternoon. As was stated earlier, this is an information item, and we will come back to you all later with a request for action. There's a reason that we need the modular classrooms at Jameswood Middle. Right now, the school is over capacity, projected to go further over capacity next year, and over the course of 10 years, that will continue to worsen. In 2027, we're going to address the issue with the rezoning, if you all give us the blessing to take that route. But until then, we need to provide the school some relief, and this is our solution for that. We've taken a good hard look at the school site. We've worked a little bit with the city to try to site the modulars. Unfortunately, we can only site them behind the building. To site them safely, they need to be as close to the building as possible, which means that they're going to take part of the bus loop. And that's a little bit of a difficult situation. You'll be able to see that on the next slide. But because of all the doors coming out of the back of the building and the access needed, we could only site 4 of the modulars there. You can see the...
You want me to stay on the picture?
Yeah, that'd be fine. So you can see the 4 modulars there where it says 12-foot sidewalk. You'll note that there are no restrooms with those modulars. We just couldn't find space to put restrooms. It's our thinking that moving forward, every time we do place them, that we place restrooms. That's for the health and convenience of the kids, but also it's a safety feature. The kids move between the buildings less that way. We do have this area fenced in, so you can see a fence going around the whole perimeter, all the way from edge of building around the modulars and back to edge of building. You'll see that one sidewalk, which is one of the main doors that the school uses, is included inside the fence. Along the horizontal sidewalk, you can see 2 gates, and so those gates will allow students to come and go from the inside of the fence to get to the buses and to go to recess, and also to egress for fire drills. Because this is located, this is one of the difficult parts. Because this is located in the bus loop, we're having to reorganize the bus loop, and we want to provide a bit of extra protection for the modulars and for the students there. So we're going to take a measure that we haven't done before with the other modulars. We're going to surround the modulars with jersey barrier to prevent accidental type of damage to the modulars. And then also, where you see the red line on the outside of that, we're going to put flexible delineators to delineate a path for students to circulate around the modulars to and from the school, to and from the buses. Unfortunately, you can see that these modulars are sited over top of existing bus parking in the bus loop. And we're having to restripe the bus loop. That means that there will be 6 fewer bus parking spaces, but that works for the school. They don't, so what you see proposed is 20 parking spaces. They do not currently have 20 buses that serve the school. You'll also see that it tightens up the bus loop a good bit, especially towards the back of the bus loop. It's 27 feet proposed between the edge of pavement and the bottom edge of the parking, and then 28 feet proposed between the student walkway and the bus parking, which is one of the reasons that we want to protect the student walkway and the modulars. Also, our engineer noticed that as buses exit the bus loop where it says bus loop drive aisle, that aisle is a little too narrow. It's a little below standards, and so we propose to take the hatched out parking spaces to allow for a more standard width bus loop drive aisle. That's simply a change for safety. You all have any questions about this?
Just one question.
Certainly.
When it comes to the bathrooms, unfortunately, like you said, there's no bathrooms out there. So I know that's a situation we also have at Sharando with however many we have currently there, the city,
16.
the modular city that we have out there now, 16. What is the bathroom? I know at Sharando, they have to go inside. We have a person monitoring that door, monitoring their entry and exit through that door. What is the plan here for bathroom access for the students?
So we have not thought that through. I think what we will do is rely on school staff to come up with a plan for that. And I guess it's a good thing this is an information item, so we'll be able to come back with an answer for that at the next meeting.
Mr. Lee, I could try to answer that the best I could for you. Right inside the door, that's not the door along the fence, but the other door goes right into a hallway. That's a standard size hallway. And there's restrooms in there that students in the building would normally use. So in talking to the principal, Dr. Wooliver, that would be the entry and exit point for students that are in modulars, and there are restrooms in the main hallway there. At this point in time, that's the school's plan unless we come up with a different plan than that. But she has thought through that a lot.
What is the transit time between classes? What are they allowed bell to bell between classes at James Wood?
5 minutes, 4?
5 minutes?
5
okay.
minutes. 4 or
Okay.
5 minutes.
Got it, okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
Check, check, check. Okay. So with this new, with these, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. With these new trailers in the parking lot and them having to leave the trailers and go into the school, at Sharando, they have to have someone sitting at the door to let them in and monitor pretty much all day long. Is that something that's going to happen at the middle school right over there?
When I talked with Dr. Wooliver, she didn't see the need for that, given there's some guiding that goes with middle school that's different than high school in terms of adults taking students from place to place. That door does have a fob access on it already, and she said as needed that they would provide an adult at that door to make sure they could get in and out. So she's thought through that, but I'd have to have her answer that question to the depth that I think you're asking.
Which leads me to my next question. The safety issue of having a student go from that trailer to the school, if there is no adult and that door is unmanned or unpersoned, and it's left to be open for a student to go in, if that's the case, but also what other safety issues have you, or safety mechanisms have you put into place? We have these locks in our schools now to prevent active shooters and that type of thing, but the same issue is still a problem with these trailers. They're paper thin, and there isn't a place for them to hide or run to. So I'm wondering if, additional security is going to be involved with this, or if there's going to be a different plan put into place.
There are gates as required for students to be able to exit the area. In terms of hiding, they could go inside the modulars or they could go inside the building with access there, but this is the same security we have in place for all of our modulars across the school division. So it's a point that I know that you are making that we will explore further to see what I can do to try to provide something in addition to that.
Thank you, Shane.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, if I may, because this was a conversation that I had with Mrs. McCoy, is they will work this into their emergency procedures because every school has an emergency plan, so they would have to work through that. We can, of course, work with Mr. Conlon to make sure that we are considering all aspects as we go through drills, as we go through the different aspects that you're mentioning. I also want to mention, too, and just to reiterate this is not ideal. We don't want to keep adding modulars, but with the space issues that we have, with the growth that we are continuously seeing, as well as with the fifth middle school that we see on our CIP list. This is, and as Mr. Lee has just mentioned, this is just a temporary fix for a long-term issue that we have. So not ideal. This isn't something we want, but this is something that's going to help with the space issues that we have. I do want to touch a little bit on the redistricting, because if you remember when we looked at our numbers, we do have Frederick County Middle, which is still at a high capacity. They're about 85%. And if you look at the future years, if we did any sort of shifting, we're just shifting the problem. And we would be shifting the problem to James Wood to Frederick County Middle. So it might provide some relief, but long-term fix with this would be either to expand one of the middle schools or look at a fifth middle school like we've been talking about. And with the big redistricting that we have coming up to redistrict numerous times, it's a lot. It's a lot on families. It's a lot on us. It's will be a lot on you. And we just want to make sure we're doing this correctly. And at this point right now, this is where we're at. We did have a conversation conversation with the principal at Bass Hoover. I think we're good now there. I know that was another school that we were taking a look at. I just think with the growth and the numbers that we have, it is something we need to provide some relief there. So, and to Mr. Bell's point, it adds to the reasons why we don't like modulars, but we do have space issues there. So, and I encourage you guys to come by for a little tour. We can definitely show you around, especially during the hallway changes and the classroom spaces they have, because it is an old building too, as we know. So it's just something to provide that relief. So just want to make sure we're fully transparent with everything we've considered and talked through.
Mr. Chair, just one, with cutting into the bus spaces there, is there going to be enough room should there be an emergency? Let's say a bus catches on fire. Are they going to have enough room to maneuver around there and get out of there?
So those are standard width drive aisles.
Right.
With an emergency like that, that bus would take up a whole lot of room. So even with the current configuration, that would be an issue.
Okay.
What classes are we thinking about putting into these trailers?
Have we gotten that far?
I'm not certain yet from talking with Dr. Wooliver about that, but again, in middle school, they change classes, so whoever's going to be in there is going to be for a period, and then they would change to another location. So we can get that information for you best we can.
Okay, just curious. I mean, to me, it seems like since this is outdoor, it's a longer walk. There's more logistics. It seems like it would be best suited for an 8th grade class, but that's just, so, oh, no, go ahead.
We're
Yeah.
also downtown.
I know, yeah. And that's just in my humble opinion. Maybe you all are, of course, the educational experts. So, Mrs. Knight, I'm looking at you as far as, the maturity level and which classes would be best suited in these. Just curious.
Yes, ma'am. We'll look into that. We haven't had a discussion about that at this point, but it certainly makes sense in terms of maturity. That at minimum, that 8th grade would be a point of consideration, but I'd love to talk with Dr. Wooliver about it.
Gotcha. Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
And one point to go back to as well, going around with emergency vehicles, if we had the need, that configuration has been planned to accommodate that need were it to occur. The specific example you gave, I'm not sure we did a very good job of answering that, but I do want to say that when we had the drawing done, it would fit the need for emergency vehicles to have access.
All right, Mr. Lee, I've got a couple questions as well. Thinking about safety and security, I know you talked about the Jersey barriers, and I see, and talking with Mr. Goodwin as well before, I see that you have the Jersey barriers located right there, pretty much next to the trailer on the drawing, and they will go around, I guess, continuously to the edge of that parking lot to the sidewalk.
So what you see there is just on one side, wrapping around one corner. We've since revised that, and we're going to put them all the way around the modulars
Yeah.
from sidewalk all the way around the sidewalk.
Yeah, it'd be continuous. Just thinking out loud here, I know those concrete Jersey barriers are great and they'll provide ample protection from vehicles. But what I was wondering is, can we look into the water barricades as well? The water barricades, they get heavy. I know we use them on construction sites. We use them out there for traffic as well. So if they're used for traffic, I'd imagine they'd, at a low level of speed that would be through that parking lot that we'd anticipate through that parking lot, they would suffice as well. But we could also, at the end of it, we have something that we can use continuously on other projects. We can lighten them up. The logistical cost of moving those is not going to be as high as Jersey barriers. Just something to look into. Is there any way we can get a price for the next meeting on what the cost of Jersey barriers for 3 years would be if we're renting those or if we're buying those, however that works, or the cost of either purchasing water barricades or renting water barricades for the foreseeable 3 years?
Certainly, yep, we can look into that.
And I just want to make sure that those would be safe to use around there, other than the concrete. That's it.
All right.
Great.
Thanks, Mr. Lee.
All right. Any other questions about that item? Or if not, Mr. Lee's going to stay right where he is, and we're going to move to the relocation of the waterline easement at Middletown.
Okay, so as part of putting the modular classrooms at Middletown Elementary School, To get 10 modulars and 2 restrooms in the space that we're using, we unfortunately had to site the modulars over top of the existing water line and the existing fire hydrant. So the solution that we've come to, and actually this is a solution with the city because they're the provider of water there, is to relocate the water line. It's going to go under a new segment of fire lane that runs behind the modulars. And the question you all had asked before was about trenching in the parking lot. So this illustration that we're getting ready to show you will give you an idea of what we'll have to trench in the parking lot for the water line. And again, this will require city approval after school board approval. Where you see the red hatching is the length of water line that we need to abandon. And in the parking lot from the beginning of the red line over to the right and then below the modulars is where the new water line and also the new fire lane would go. So to that extent where the dark black line is, that would be trenching for the water line in the parking lot. This drawing is, we've made some changes since this drawing, like we have done for the Jameswood Middle drawing. Where you see the fire hydrant, it's actually going to be on the other side of the new fire lane, so closer to the trailers.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, has any thought been put into what will happen to our driveway at Middletown Elementary when that piece of property on the one side of it, 101 acres, I believe it is, gets sold, and how that's going to play out?
So at the moment, the property owner is proffering no access off of Mustang Lane.
Oh, that's great.
If it sells, they could come in for a rezoning, and to my knowledge, the rezoning hasn't taken effect yet, so that proffer is not in place yet. But
Okay.
assuming that the rezoning gets approved, that would be the law of the land.
Has it been sold?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, I was going to say, it's like $1 million and some, or $15 million or something like that. Can you write me a check, Miles?
I ain't got that kind of money.
Thank you.
So this is an item that would require your all's action for us to be able to make application to the city and move forward with relocating the water line.
I move that the committee forward to the full school board the request to relocate the water line and fire hydrant at Middletown Elementary School as shown in the exhibit presented with a recommendation to approve.
Second, we have a motion that's been properly seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lee. And for your final feat of the evening, the lot consolidation at Sharando High School. Thank you.
This is an item that is part of an ongoing master planning process that we're doing for Sharando High School. We're trying to be proactive with this item so that when the time comes to make improvements on the recently acquired properties, that we don't have this item standing in the way as a hurdle. As the property stands now, it's in 6 individual lots. So you can see 5 of the lots outlined in blue-green, with the very smallest lot being towards 277, so that's the 6th lot. And of course, then we have the original property to go with all of those. So we are requesting vacation. This would be an action item for you all this evening for us to be able to move forward with vacating the property lines. This, if you all approve, we would take this downtown for a boundary line vacation lot consolidation application.
I move that the committee forward to the full school board the request to submit to Frederick County an application for the lot consolidation at Sharando High School as shown on the plat presented with a recommendation to approve the request.
Second, we have a motion before us, it's been properly seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Good evening. This last agenda item belongs to me, so I'm excited to talk with you again. Last month, we talked a little bit about Top of Virginia and what a difference they make in our community as a 501c3 charitable organization. They've been around for quite some time, since 2017, and their purpose is to elevate the culture and sport of hockey here in this area. Around the DMV, there's lots of different opportunities. I believe 14 rinks and all that the Washington Capitals have been involved with, also in the West Virginia area. And this rink is located right behind the James Wood Middle School property if you were to walk out this door directly across the parking lot. So more than 200 local youth each year have a great place to come over. And again, there are the things they hope to instill: teamwork, friendship, and a love for the game of hockey. The Top of Virginia Hockey Alliance is requesting permission to install a particular type of flooring, which we have some examples for you tonight in just a moment when I invite Patrick to come forward. And it's called Mateflex 3 flooring. That surface that we currently have over there in use is beginning to show wear, and that wear begins to work on the wheels of the skates that the players play and also the equipment and things like that. They're committed to raising the money. $43,000 in total is what they believe it will cost to do that. They will raise the money, and they will also perform the construction and maintenance on the flooring. Again, it is a school board facility, so they're asking for permission for you to do that, and that comes with a motion. But before you consider it, if I could, I'd like to invite Patrick to come back up and talk a little bit about anything he might offer, and also he has some examples, and I'll help him provide those to you to take a look at. And Patrick, if you have anything you want to offer or say, or if you all have questions, please ask. So thank you for what you do for our community.
Appreciate it. Yeah, the request is pretty simple. That rink's been up in operation for about 3 years or so. The paint that was put down, think of it as kind of a tennis court paint. Has a lifespan, probably another 3-4 years before you really need to go through. So the board was weighing options on just repainting it, or looking at some tile surface, which we've played on in other rinks in and around the DMV that the Capitals have funded. That kind of rink obviously is much more like a ice-like surface, so the play is a little more ice-like. The wear and tear on the gear is obviously significantly different for that. So working with the Capitals and their vendor, that's where the $43,000 price tag comes, and that's a discounted price from that, but it's also some in-kind labor from the Top Virginia Hockey family to help put that in. So the rink, the tile, since will happen, obviously, if you all move forward with that to the school board and the school board approves, we would hope that the rink would be installed whenever the funds are raised, which could be as little as 12 months, or it just depends how fast it takes to get the money raised. So we are a 501c3, so our margins are what they are. So we rely on a lot of community support, in which obviously if you've been to the rink, you've seen the dasher boards and such. That's why that rink is here. We always tell all the youth players that are there at the beginning of every season that rink's only there because of sponsors like yourselves, but also community sponsors to help make that rink happen. So happy to entertain any questions.
I just have a technical question. Shame on me, I haven't been out there yet
Sure.
with my boys to check it out.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It is now on my to-do list.
Yeah, 4 to 18 years old.
40 okay, good to
Skate or
know.
no, can skate or not skate, we'll take them.
Awesome. Awesome. And so that surface, so it'll be that surface, and then is there something that goes over top of it, or just
That's
that?
it. As far as we know, that's
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
The technical, actually, the installation, I will say I haven't gotten in too much. It's just been, what's the cost? What's the labor? How do we get it in? The vendor is comfortable working with the rink that's there. They've done these before where they're putting the tile on top of another surface. So that part's pretty easy, so they
Cool.
say. So it's about, they say, a day and a half, 2 days to install.
Yeah.
So.
And it's inline skates. That's what
We run.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
Cool.
the schools obviously use it for other physical education activities, but ours are strictly on skates. We do run a summer camp that has some floor hockey-like activities, but we are, our activities on Sundays are strictly on skates.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope you make it to our full board meeting and you put in a plug to hopefully raise some funds for it. I'd like to see that. Any chance we can get the Caps to come out and promote this as well?
I don't know if they'll come out
You're
for
our
this.
plug.
They've already, they came out and did their big ribbon cutting, so I mean, they've been uber supportive. I
Yeah.
mean, every year, we hold an in-season raffle, and those are signed swag that the Capitals donate to us every year. They do the same thing for our sponsors. They've been a great partner in the whole process. So I mean, it's been, that ranks, I mean, again, their investment is well beyond all the money we raise for it. I mean, we raise the funds for the lights, we raise the funds for the foundation. I tell people very proudly that rink was built with no taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I wish more people would come out there to it. But yeah, I definitely don't see a problem getting this to the full board. Matter of fact, we have a recommendation before us.
We do. I move that the committee forward to the full board the request to allow Top of Virginia Hockey Alliance to replace the hockey rink floor surface at Jameswood Middle School at their own expense with no financial, construction, maintenance, or other involvement from Frederick County Public Schools with a recommendation for approval.
Second, we have a motion that's been properly seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah, thank you.
With that, Dr. Hummer, I turn the meeting back over to you, and that is our agenda for this evening. Thank you.
All right, so that's all we have for you guys this evening. If you have any questions, we're available.
All right, I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. We are adjourned.